It was late evening. The Kanyakumari railway station was totally deserted. The totally empty train stood at the platform and I was there. And I had to walk what felt like a mile to spot my bogie. I went inside the bogie, it was pitch dark. I had to switch on the lights myself. And inside the bogie there were seats and berths as we call them, and they were covered in the trademark blue of the Indian Railways. How can this train be so empty? I asked myself. That was the start of the Dibrugarh Kanyakumari Vivek Express. 5 days, 9 states and 4,200 kilometers. It is the longest train journey in India. So are you ready for this ride? Trains make big cities accessible from millions of villages in the vast hinterland of India. They are inexpensive and probably the biggest legacy of socialist India. The growth of the rail network post-independence India has been disappointing. You cannot argue the importance of the Indian Railways. Now, for most Indians, the train journey is an obvious one because of necessity. But for some privileged people like me, it's also about the romance of the railways. You know, the promise of crossing through different landscapes, meeting someone interesting, or the excitement of reaching a new destination. So it is but natural that I was excited at the possibility of traveling on the longest train journey in India, and my chance came back in February of 2015 when I was trying to reach the last railway stations in every major directions using only trains. I got in at Kanyakumari on Thursday night, and like I said, the bogie was empty. But by the time I woke up in the morning, the bogie was jam-packed. The scenes were completely opposite to what I had encountered the night before. The train, which starts in Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, entered Kerala, and from Kerala it re-entered Tamil Nadu, all in the night. I was lucky. My neighbors in my compartment were athletes from Assam, and they were to be my neighbors up until Guwahati. Whatever little romance I had for the train journey disappeared within the first few waking hours. Dirty toilets, a sea of people everywhere, and really bad food. It may sound like an exaggeration, but it almost felt like an entire city had been packed into a train. The first day, no ticket checker arrived. The day passed in crossing Tamil Nadu and later making our way through Andhra Pradesh. Buttermilk packets provided respite from the heat, but the conversations were fun. Where else in India would you be sharing space with the state handball team of Assam? And this team had won silver medal at the national games in Trichy. Now, there is something about making friends on the train. The strangers seem like the kind of friends you should be having in real life. The coach of the handball team was really fascinated by my journey and wanted to stay in touch. But like most travel friendships, even this one disappeared as soon as he alighted from the train. Vendors kept crossing bogies selling bangles, earphones, and even blessings from gods. By now it was the third day on the train. Visakhapatnam, Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, Durgapur, Asansol. The stations came in and went like a never-ending blur. I am dared to visit the general compartment as well. I was traveling in second class and suddenly started feeling that I was traveling in royal class. Makeshift hammocks, card games, and people huddled together because they had no space to sit. That is what the general compartment of Vivek Express looks like. Sunday evening, and the train slowly drew into Guwahati. I almost felt as if it was a victory. One more night and I would be done. Maybe I celebrated too soon. That night my camera, cards and cash was stolen. Yes, you heard that right. I got off on Monday morning at Dibrugarh railway station without any cash or even proof of identity. That's how life is. Passengers of Vivek Express are much like most Indians. They are jostling for space and dignity, but somehow still manage to smile. So yes, the Vivek Express is not for everyone. So if you are faint-hearted, don't get on the Vivek Express. It is that tough and embarrassing India that we do not want to know of. You know, while we are brushing all of these poverty and the problems under the carpet of urbanization of glass towers, it's the India that can make us restless. And it's better to just look away. Yeah, if you want to know a little bit about how I managed in Dibrugarh without cash or without identity, I'd be happy to make a video about it. But let me know if you're interested in comments. If I get at least 5 comments, I'll go ahead and make the video. You can also check out my last video about the Foodie Express of India, Mandovi Express, right here. That's it from me in this video. I'll see you in the next one pretty soon. Hey, if you like that video, then go ahead and follow Eccentric Sachin. You can also go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. Until we meet in the next video, keep traveling.